Assalamualaikum dan salam UITM di hatiku. My name is Nisaa.zainal and my metric number is 2019210256.
My name is Hanis Nasuha binti Muhammad Taib and my matrix number is 2019446776.
Assalamualaikum and salam UITM di hatiku. My name is Nurhanani binti Abu Bakar and my matric number is 2019412178.
Assalamualaikum, salam UITM di hatiku. My name is Nur Farahi binti Muhammad Zamri and my matrix number is 2019401436.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam UITM di hatiku. My name is Nur Syadatina Syuhada binti Syifri.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam satu Malaysia. We stand here today in this August house to present the 2021 budget. This year's budget is aligned with the COVID-19's repercussions that has particularly affected the health and economic status of the entire world. Healthcare professionals, military personnel, police officers, and the one-too-many unsung heroes have joined forces to combat this pandemic. These conceited efforts that were seen across political, social, and ethnical divide has certainly played a role in this year's budget. Due to this, the theme for this year's budget is Stand United, We Shall Prevail. There are three pillars upholding this grand theme: people's well-being, economic resilience, and business continuity. It is a responsibility of the Ministry of Education to sanction such goals in its strategies to ensure that people are healthy, resilient in economic welfare, as well as sustainable in business. Hence, the commentation of the MOE's Budget 2021.
There are two programs that will develop within the budget in order to build a program increment of life-saving education. For the first one is basic to emergency medical study. The third one is advocacy and awareness of sex education and Firstly, the function of this training is to highlighting the feasibility of training school students. But according to one research, age may be limiting factor in giving CPR in terms of physical strength, but cognitive abilities are independent and may be improved in overtime with current training. Next, another function is to overcoming the problem of deteriorating physical fitness based on students' health, especially in flexibility. To increase student flexibility, program implementation intervention in the physical education in the classroom must be grounded. So we move to the implementation for this strategy, which is targeting the appropriate student population is of foremost importance. Achieving the target compression depth in adult victim of cardiac arrest requires the application of about 50 kg. Given the importance of delivering high-quality compression and the possibility that trainers who are physically unable to perform this compression to the desired standard during training might become discouraged or disinterested, it is reasonable to limit practice of adult CPR chest compression skills to children. Next, the core skill of convention CPR need any program that designed to teach convention CPR for students should. Hence, only CPR should include the core skill described there. So, the most critical of this skill are recognition of the emergency and provision of high-quality chest compression deserve further emphasis. So, the budget preparation for this program are the total expected cost that will be realized around 49,000. 300,000 will be used for allowance priorities that involved in the program. 9,600 will be spent for the food and beverage and the equipment that are required during the course of the program. So we move to the benefit of this activity. The first benefit of these activities students should aware when are in direct proportion to their parents' education, training background, and experience with a resuction case. The goal was to determine the strength of BLS knowledge among secondary school students who are highly dynamic group with a growing frequency of crises and injuries. Many students have focused on teacher awareness, but student awareness will be extremely beneficial since the individual closest to the victim are likely to be his or her classmate. Second, to begin this fitness exam, all people must weigh and measure themselves. This is because the standard process for calculating BMI based on the student weight and height. BMI data may be compared to a categorization table to determine if the student are underweight or normal or overweight. So, for the second activity is the comprehensive and awareness of sex education. Child abuse is defined as physical, sexual, emotional, or physical psychology mistreatment or neglect of children. The word comprehensive refers to the fact that this approach to sexuality education includes the whole range of knowledge and skills value that young people need to exercise their sexual and reproductive rights and make health and sexuality decisions. The function this activity is to establishing a sense of self-worth when the person with the sensitivity identities are undervalued. It is simple for them to undervalue themselves by identifying physical boundaries. Next, the second function is to identifying physical boundaries and exercising bodily autonomy, so we can encourage control over your own care and help prevent violence by being open about your boundaries. To be generally comprehensive sexuality education must be involve young people in a wide range of topics that may affect their life, relationship, gender, decision making, and variety of other concerns they may have regarding their sexual reproductive health now and in the future. So, for the implementation of this strategy is to conduct by create the child-centered approach. By doing so, we will be able to educate people how to cope with harassment. Ignoring the problem may frequently lead to never-ending cycles of harassment and victimization. The emotional payout for a criminals come out from seeing other fearful and angry educate students regarding sexual harassment by conducting related programs on the prevention of sexual harassment among school students. Students must be taught that distinction between nice and teasing and bullying, as well as between flirtation and harassment. Behavior expectation must be clearly and stated, articulated and fair, consistent, and for the punishment must be specific and enforced. So, for the budget description, the cost will be expected for this program, which is child-centered approach. We will spend for allowance for parties that involve, which is RM 700,000, and for food and beverage is we will spend for 450,000. Also for the cost advertisement, we will spend for 37,000. So the total cost for these activities are around 1,180,000. Next, we move to the benefit of this program is to empowering young people to make informed decisions about relationship and sexual, and to navigate a world where gender-based violence, gender inequality, early and unintended pregnancy. Similarly, a lack of high quality, age and development appropriate sexuality and relationship education may expose children and adolescents to dangerous sexual behavior and sexual exploitation. So the second function is to is used for a learner-centered approach, which is to provide age-appropriate and phased education of human rights, gender equality, relationship, reproduction, sexual behavior risk, and disease prevention for children and young people, as well as an opportunity to present sexuality in a positive light, emphasizing values such as respect, inclusion, non-discrimination, equality, empathy, and responsibility.
Assalamualaikum, and I'm the next presenter. I will proceed with strategy 2, which is strengthening a conducive schooling environment. The first program under this strategy is supply of school amenities, which are tables and chairs. The functions of this program first is to overcome the problem of tables and chairs, because there were newspaper clippings that touched on the problem of lack of chairs and tables, whereby it was bad news because parents have to buy tables and chairs for their children. There are also schools that cannot accept new students just because of this problem. Second, to ensure the safety and comfort of students is a priority. There are chairs and tables of students who are in an unsatisfactory condition, where enforcing the school and parents to have gotton wire as an effort to restore the tables and chairs for countless time. This indirectly can bring disaster to the students because the condition of the tables and chairs are not safe to use, as there is a risk of injury to the students if they continue to use them. For the implementation strategy, it can be done. We have from first, District Education Office, or also known as PPD. It is responsible for managing administrative matters that related to schools in the district. Among the functions of PPD is it also to ensure that all education needs such as school facilities are in a satisfactory condition, so they can help MOE by the staff from PPD visit schools to collect data on tables and chairs are needed by schools. Second, through help from State Education, or also known as JPN. Among the main functions of the JPN is to monitor the progress of schools under the administration of PPD and provide financial assistance given by MOE to the school. Therefore, JPN also has the ability to be a connection that connects the problem experienced by the school to MOE, because JPN also has information, data, and details of a school's facilities, especially Labuan and Perlis JPN, since there are no PPD there. The budget allocation for this program, where it is expected that each school throughout Malaysia will need at least 200 sets of tables with chairs. The expected cost for tables and chairs is 224 million and 840,000. Meanwhile, allowance for staff is 59,200 and other expenses is 140,438. So the total estimated cost for this program is 225 million and 39,638. The benefits of this program: first, the problem of lack of tables and chairs finally can be overcome. The problem that haunting the school when there are lacks of tables and chairs every time the school opens finally will be overcome when there is a specific provision just for this problem, and there is no more problem for rejecting parents who want to send their children to school just because of the constraints of tables and chairs, or asking parents to buy a set of tables and chairs for their children when the equipment is not enough. Second, students can study in a comfortable environment. When there is a special provision on behalf of the school to buy new chairs and tables, this indirectly will create a conducive and comfortable environment to study among the students. The second program for this strategy is grants for school maintenance. The function of this program: first, school equipment and facilities can be used safely. The provision for the maintenance of equipment and facilities in school, including breathing maintenance and sports facilities such as field and swimming pool, can be used safely and for a long time. Second, protecting students, teachers, school staff, and outsiders from unwanted things. If there is no provision to maintain all facilities and equipment in school, it will most likely lead to any accidents. The school is a place that should be trusted and guarantee its safety to all students, teachers, school staff, and even outsiders. Implementation strategy for this program: though it will be allocated for all schools, but schools need to apply in advance to identify certain requirements, as well as be able to provide to provide the assistance for maintenance appropriate to the problem faced because we want to avoid waste and loss in optimizing the use of crime. It can be made through a form available on the MOE website. The implementation strategy can be done with help first through the State Education Department, or also known as JPN. Through this program, the school must submit an application to the JPN for further action, especially for schools that do not have PPD, like in Police and Labuan. Further action here is the need to conduct a technical assessment on the school, which is conducting a survey to determine the reasonable cost to be applied to the MOE because to avoid excessive allocation in a school. Second, through the help of District Education Office, or also known as PPD. One function for PPD is to be representative for JPN. Due to that, schools also can submit the application for this grant to PPD too. After that, the staff from PPD will conduct a technical assessment just like JPN to ensure and to determine the reasonable cost to be applied to MOE to avoid excessive allocation in a school. Next, through the direct involvement of Ministry of Education, or also known as MOE. MOE can also get involved when reviewing and examining applications submitted from the JPN or PPD. Integrated cooperation is required from the MOE in conducting a review and reasonable costs that have been determined by the JPN or PPD because to avoid any irrational costs being applied. For budget allocation for the grants maintenance for all schools, it will be allocated according to the type that has been divided. For maintenance of toilet and sport facilities, it will get 40 million, and for the building is 480 million. Meanwhile, allowance for staff involved is 180,400, and other expenses is 160,318. So the total estimated cost for this program is 560 million and 278,708. Benefit of this program first is creating a conducive environment for students when there is a conducive environment because toilet, breathing and sport facilities have been maintained by the school. Since there is provision from the MOE for such things, it will raise the mood for students to be more patient to school and also effective. Second, school equipment and facilities can be used for a long time. It can be used for a longer period of time due to the periodic maintenance done. It also will help them in prevent them from having to buy or withdraw money from the school fund if the facilities and equipment are not maintained at the appropriate rate and period.
Goals number 2 in the budget 2021, which is the economy resilience. The strategy number 1, which is the enhancement of higher quality of the education. There are 2 programs under this strategy, which is program number 1 is the basic Microsoft program and number 2 is sign language skills program. The first function is to help students become more proficient in mastering the field of technologies. As the years go by, the use of technology is the most important things for every student as the competition in the modern world is getting stronger. So with the establishment of the strategy from the government to further boost the quality of learning, especially in the technology, this will surely be able to open the wide path for the new generation in Malaysia to compete internationally. Next, the second function is to prepare students for the world of work. This is because without technological knowledge and skill, it is difficult for them to find a job in the current era of the globalizations. If a view from the point of view of career field, employers are now looking at the skills of using the computer technology and others in terms of hiring employer in their company because this use of the technology play an important things in the company. The implementation strategy that will be controlled by the Minister of Education. The scope of the program will be under the Secondary School Standard Curriculum KSSM to meet the new policy requirement under the Malaysian Education Development Plan PPPM 2013 to 2025. The program will cover 2,440 secondary schools in Malaysia, including in the urban, suburban and rural area. The budget allocated for the program under the Ministry of Education and under the scope of KSSM is 389,180. The number of secondary school in Malaysia is 2,440 schools, and the method of distributions is for desktop computer will be allocated 50 for each secondary school, with the total of each unit is 3,000. So for the total that will cover all the secondary school is 366 millions. Computer desktop need to be equipment with the Microsoft Office, which is worth 150 for one computer unit. So the estimate for the Microsoft program is 18 million and 300. At the end, for the maintenance of computer lab in all secondary schools in Malaysia is 2,000 for the each schools. So for the total estimate is 4,880,000. Firstly, the benefit is the students from the secondary school already have the knowledge and a basic skill to use this Microsoft program in the right way. The advantage is that the students who continue their studies to the university level no longer have the zero knowledge when it's come to the use the technology of this basic application. This can provide many benefits for the students themselves, so that the process to continue the studies to university is not longer burdensome and can reduce stress. Secondly, the competitions gap between the Malaysian students and student board can be bridged with the evolution in applying the basic skills needed by the global. Then surely all students can compete with the student from other countries. The form of thinking and appetite of a student should be expanded to help them not to be easily intimidated when faced with the students from the country that has the best quality of education.
The second strategy under economic resilience is inclusive opportunity to education, whereby the program is an incentive increment. The activity is to increase the allowed murid berkeperluan khas EMK luar bandar from 150 to 300 ringgit. EMK is to encourage parents of murid berkeperluan khas MBK to enroll them in school. The current monthly allowance for all MBKs is 150 ringgit. Although this amount may seem sufficient, however, statistics shows those residing in rural areas are still reluctant to enroll their child to their nearest special needs school due to high travel costs. Lack of education pertinent to their disabilities would mean less skill sets and reduced employability. While retaining the initial conditions of the EMK Rural will prioritize rural children whose family has a household income of less than 4,000, siblings or parents have many dependents, and the child's expenses is wholly or partially supported by their siblings or relatives. Any schools that fall under the initial EMK, such as Sekolah Kebangsaan, matriculations, and vocationals, must handle the receiving of the applications from the parents or guardians. They filter complete applications and requirements before handing it to the State Education Department or JPN. JPN will coordinate the applications by reviewing the authenticity of the data provided. Afterwards, the Special Education Division will further coordinate and confirm the funds allocation before passing it to the Federal Financial Division for approval. Moving on to the budget of this program. The expected total expenditure for EMK Rural is 3,607,000 ringgit annually, assuming there are 11,000 out of the 93,951 registered disabled children across all types of schools and educational levels are eligible, would bring the total annual allowance alone to 3.6 million Malaysian ringgit. The second program is education for the indigenous community, thus the initiation of indigenous community classes for adults, BICA. Education is important for employability and economic continuity, yet if the parents or guardians do not value education, their children will most likely follow suit. This situation is prevalent among the adults of indigenous communities, proven by their lack of the 3 M's, reading, writing, and also arithmetic skills. Thus, BICA is to aid the adult indigenous community in raising awareness through educational means. The target for BICA is any school with an Orang Asli student population of at least 85%. The parents or guardians must be Malaysian, legally identifies as an Orang Asli, and between the ages of 18 to 60 years. BICA will have a trial duration of 2 years to test its effectiveness. 5 different schools will be selected each year as a means for mock schools. So each school will have one class, and each class will have 20 to 30 students, with 3 classes a week, 2 hours for each lesson. The participants must complete 50 days or 100 hours, which is equivalent to 4 months in the very same year. The MOE has formulated a special curriculum for this program, the Curriculum for Parents of Indigenous Students, CPIS. Also, an 150 ringgit food allowance and 200 ringgit travel allowance will be provided monthly to reduce the financial burden of this community. Moving on to the budget of this program, the aforementioned trial duration for BICA is 2 years. 1 year is 4 months worth of classes, so 2 years would be 8 months. Therefore, the total estimated expenditure for these 8 months is 587,790 ringgit. In terms of advertising this program, such as posters, pamphlets, would cost 3,000 ringgit. Facility-wise would amount to 4,000 ringgit. In terms of emoluments, the salary for 12 specified teachers is 2,100 ringgit monthly, totaling up to 201,600 ringgit for 8 months. The 5 trainees that will train them will receive 4,000 ringgit each, totaling to 20,000 ringgit. Both students and teachers require modules based on the CPIS, which would require 8,220 ringgit. Also, participants' allowances for 8 months is 350,000 ringgit. This concludes the allocation of this program.
Next, for the third strategy, which is development of student entrepreneur potential through professional education system. So the first activities that we will conduct is student entrepreneurship development for minority communities. Entrepreneurial education and training equip people with the capacity to identify commercial possibilities, as well as the confidence, knowledge, and abilities to capitalize on them. As a result, the introduction of entrepreneurship education is viewed as an appropriate solution since it will aid the development of competent, trained human capital. The Ministry of Education's approach to entrepreneurship education was not a novel. Primarily, school living skills was introduced as a topic that included an entrepreneurial component into the primary school curriculum by the ministry. The function of this program is to provide students with entrepreneurial information, skill and talents. So the function of this program is to provide students with entrepreneurial information, skills and talents, and allowing them to succeed in their careers as entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship education prepares students to become inventive business owners and to seize prospects for success in business ventures. Next, the function of this program is to provide possibilities for students to work in business by teaching business disciplines. Students who took business classes were shown to be more interested in starting their own firm. There is also perception that entrepreneurship courses have a favorable impact on student knowledge of the appeal and entrepreneurial career and recognition of the realities of starting one's own business. So next we move to the implementation strategy. The implementation strategy that will be conducted is a workshop to all students about entrepreneurship education. This workshop will be organized by entrepreneurship clubs and societies. It investigates their influence on students' learning in order to determine how will they imitate entrepreneurial learning. Next, the second implementation is to investigate their influence on student learning in order to determine how we will imitate entrepreneurial learning. Those who join entrepreneurial organization, for example, emphasize the advantage of event and networking as well as understanding of business ownership and aid with information directly related business to start up. The benefit from these activities to students that join the workshop, they will self-efficacy refers to how much participation in entrepreneurial activities boosts and self-confidence, while intentionally refers to whether participation in entrepreneurship clubs and society increase one motivation to behave entrepreneurially. In addition, schools should play a vital role in the development of students who are capable of generating knowledge and creativity in continually changing environment. The budget descriptions, the total cost that will be expected is for allowance for the parties that involved. We will spend for 10,000 and for the food and beverage for 40,000. For consolation gift of invited guests, we will spend for 50,000, and the cost for advertisements like banners, we will spend for 90,000. For facilities expenditures, we will spend for 15,000. So the total cost for these activities will achieve around 20,500. For the second activities is to empowering business knowledge for the school. Entrepreneur students from all socio-economic level benefit from entrepreneurship education. It generates opportunities, promotes social fairness, instills confidence, and boosts the economy. These abilities do not have taught in schools. They might contact one of the many groups that assist teachers in low-income regions. So the function of this program is to concentrate on personal growth, skills, and talents. Researching business entails not just studying persons, communities, organizations, but also analyze their needs and challenges and developing the solution to them. It will assist students in recognition and significance of this course of they apply in the business world. For example, in assisting people with their needs, difficulties, and problem, and in developing goods and services that serve to improve the quality of life. So the implementation strategy is we will create for opportunities for students to participate in social entrepreneurship contests. By doing that, this encompasses both social entrepreneurship enterprises that primarily focus on a social cause and technology startup initiative. In this event, the sponsored by a large or well-known corporation and entrepreneurship competition should match two or more student groups against by one others. By doing that, students can choose a great way to engage student interest by exposing them to real-life business problems. The second strategy is to providing consulting service to help students launching their own product. The school can work with student entrepreneurs and institutions such as small business administration to conduct a market research, obtain funding, and create viable business. So the benefit of this program is entrepreneurial students aim to start their own firm for a variety of reasons, including autonomy, financial stability, and career flexibility. As the result, individuals develop good communication skills that can be used to any aspect of life or job path. So the budget description is we will spend for advertisement, food, beverage, and consolation prize, and the total cost is around 1,412,000. The cost for this program. Thank you.
Under this strategy, Program 1 is tablet from Tabung Cerdik GLC. Tabung Cerdik is an initiative to provide free tablets from funds received from GLCs to target 150,000 students in 500 schools for the purpose of running an online business. The function is firstly to facilitate students to run an effective online business. Students can increase sales day by day at any time in various social medias or Shopee and Lazada apps. Students also have the opportunity to do delivery on time for residents who want to buy their products using Foodpanda and GrabMart apps. Secondly, in ensuring students are proficient in the use of digital device. Not all students grow up with diverse as well as sophisticated digital device, and for the 21st century, especially Generation Z, it's very important in the use of digital device in various tasks, let alone now the pandemic season that has to learn online. Students also can use this digital platform in doing business anywhere because the digital device is lightweight and easy to carry. Implementation strategy for the program. First, Khazanah Nasional Berhad, the biggest financial backer because of its job as the public authorities speculation holding arm, where Khazanah Nasional donates the funds to the tabung cerdik which was collected to ensure educate expenditure. Third, subsidy coupons provide which is 20% for purchase of tablets in the face of new norms to try to venture into the field of business that students want to start for their convenience. Second, Yayasan Petronas. Petronas remains with Malaysia in relieving the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has carried remarkable changes and difficulties to business and day-to-day existence. Basically, the Yayasan Petronas is the backbone for GLCs that provide support in contributing to the tabung cerdik for the purchase of tablets that support students in business. For budget allocation, the budget for the tablet from tabung cerdik GLC is expected to cost 150 million for 150,000 students in 500 schools with a tablet price of 1,000. But after a subsidy coupon was given of 20%, the price of a tablet became only 800. Now the total amount is only 120 million. Allowances for parties involved, which is Khazanah Nasional Berhad and Yayasan Petronas, each for 12,000, where the final amount it is 24,000. Finally, the total estimate expenditure is 120 million 24,000. Benefit of program. MOE can ease the burden of students by helping students generate extra money even if only small businesses to buy school supplies or other necessities, as well as those who want to help families such as B40 students in ensuring all the fate of students is protected by MOE during the COVID-19 season. Second program is one of 150 for filming equipment. This program is another ancillary assistance of 150 for over 10,000 schools in implementing effective initiatives for students to conduct business. The function firstly to promote the products. Sometimes not all business activities can be conducted at home due to some constraints such as not so good environmental atmosphere. When filming in school is done in promoting the product, the ideas from each other among the students or teachers can be applied to increase their creativity for product sales throughout the business activities such as Entrepreneurship Day. Next, in adding less or damaged filming requirements, one of them is due to the need for incomplete filming or damaged equipment which has long been unused. Hereby there are also support tools that can be provided such as lighting umbrella, tripod stand and a wireless live microphone to facilitate students in producing good enough photography or film. Implementation strategy. First, district education officer which can record the quantity of filming needs required by each school at the district level so that all equipment can be distributed evenly and adequately to continue the preparation in the success of a business. Act on behalf of the MOE to ensure that students' performance in business continues. Second, State Department of Education which can provide financial assistance to PPDs as well as for all schools in the state to fulfill the purpose of the program planned by the MOE. This is because the overall report from PPD has been recorded by JPN on behalf of MOE to facilitate MOE to act for the next step in producing a generation of visionary entrepreneurs. Budget allocation for the program, which provides 150 for filming needs such as lighting umbrella, tripod stand and also wireless live microphone, with expected price of 70 ringgit, 40 ringgit and 40 ringgit respectively for all 10,220 schools, and the final amount is 1,533,000. Allowance for staff involved for PVPD of 67.2 thousand and also JPN of 2,520, where the final amount for it is 69,720. Finally, for the total amount is expected to be 1,602,720. Of the program by being able to attract the attention of students to the encouragement of the MOE who work on this program in business for young people who can seek experience from the beginning. This is because the experience that can be built from the beginning will facilitate the students on affairs when they grow up, such as to get a job or how to manage their own business that can increase self-productivity to become successful young entrepreneurs into the future. In conclusion, even though the country is suffering a COVID-19 pandemic, the Ministry of Education Malaysia should be applauded for its ongoing efforts and dedication to the many programs mentioned above to guarantee that education quality, equity and access are at the highest level possible. This is because strategic budget planning ensures that all areas under the MOE can be put into practice, ensuring that the country's administration functions smoothly. Thus, all programs implemented can achieve mutual progress together in the field of education in terms of all aspects, thus producing a society that is not only smart but with integrity in all matters and can inspire others to jointly achieve a good national image. That's all for our presentation. Thank you.